Uh, Hello guys, so we are going to start a new lesson and a new unit, unit 10. So we've finished unit 9 and now we are starting unit 10. Okay, so we are opening now the student book. So unit 10, it has 3 lessons, rules and warnings, safety hazards, investigations. So we will start the first lesson, rules and warnings. This is page 74. Okay. Okay, the title is about rules and warnings. Rules, for example, in classroom. When I say you are not allowed to enter the class without a book, this is a rule. Okay, you are not allowed to enter without a book. You are not allowed to attend late. This is a rule. Okay, a rule is a set of instructions that tell you to do or not to do something. Warnings, for example, before doing the action, I would warn you to not do. For example, if you attend without studying, I would warn you that you will not, or you might not get a good score. You might not get a good score. Okay, this is a warning. A warning. You need to study, or you will not get a good score. Another warning: if you did not stop when the police call you, you might end up in the prison. So this is a warning. The rule says you must stay. This is the rule. A warning, I will give you the complication. What would happen if you cross this rule? Okay, let's see the first activity. The first activity. Okay, number 1, work in pairs. What's safety? Safe comes from safe, means the opposite of dangers or dangers. Okay, or dangers. Safe, be safe. Don't get hurt. Okay, you need to follow the safety rules. Safety rules in order to not get harm. Safe. Amen. Safety. Okay, rules, as we said before, means set of instructions. If you follow them, inshallah, you will be safe. You will not get harmed. You will not be harmed. So, are going to listen short listening about a set of rules or warnings. Warnings. What to do in a place like this. Okay, what are the safety rules that if you follow them will be safe, inshallah. Okay, so we have 6 rules. You need to put in the blanks auxiliary verbs. What do you mean by auxiliary verb? As you can see, we have don't. So we have don't, doesn't, can, do. These are auxiliary verb. The tense is in the present simple. Tense is in the present simple. Okay. Okay, let's check and start the listening.
Unit 10. Safety. Recording 53. 1.
You must wear a hard hat on the building site.
2.
Don't go through that door.
3.
You must wear safety gloves everywhere in the factory.
4.
Don't touch that machine. It's very hot.
5.
Be careful! High voltage electricity. You might get an electric shock.
6.
You mustn't use your mobile phone here.
Okay, we'll try to answer for exercise number 2. We'll start with sentence number 1.
Unit 10. 53. 1.
You must wear a hard hat on the building site.
You must.
2.
Don't go through that door.
Don't.
3.
You must wear safety gloves everywhere in the factory.
4.
Don't touch that machine. It's very hot.
5.
Be careful! High voltage electricity. You might get an electric shock.
6.
You mustn't use your mobile phone here.
Okay, we'll go through one by one. So we have the first one, don't. This is the negative form that you are going to use in the present simple tense, meaning that you are not doing this something, or you didn't do this something. For example, number 2, don't. If you put don't at the beginning, and if it wasn't a question, so this sentence tells you to not go where? Through that door. So opposite of this is to remove the negative. You would say do. Or here you don't need to put the negative. If you want to use the positive, you would use the word go. Go through that door. Go through that door. If you are willing to tell someone to not do this action, you need to put the negative at the beginning. Don't. As you can see, don't. If you use don't at the beginning, you don't need a subject. Okay, what do you mean by subject? Like you. So don't is the only one in the imperative verb that does not need a subject if it is used at the beginning of the sentence. The other word we have is might. Might has the meaning of possibility. Okay, look at number 5. You might get an electric shock. You might. We are not certain 100% whether you're gonna get electric shock or not. So it is like 50% chance that you might get an electric shock or not. So we are not sure. It is like maybe. Okay, you maybe get one or not. For example, if you attend to an exam without studying before, you might there's a possibility that you might or maybe you are not gonna pass, but you pass. You don't know. The third one is must. Must, I use must if I want to tell you that you are not like 100% that you are order to do something. For example, I would say, you must bring the book. You must bring the book. So you are not allowed to enter without the book. Must, yes. Okay, there is no declaration. You must 100%. Either you get this or you don't come. The fourth word is must. It's like okay, negative form. Like 6, you must not use your mobile. Here I'm telling you, you are not allowed to use the mobile. Okay, during the exam, for example. So we have don't. So these are, as you can see in these sentences, we have the verb. So these sentences are typical example of how we can form the present about in our last lecture.
Unit 10.
Okay, look at number 3. Why do the signs below have different colors? As you can see, we have blue, we have red, that crossed a symbol. We have yellow, and we have also different shapes. We have circle, we have a triangle. Why we have these differences? All of these have different shapes. As we can see, circle, triangle. So these are shapes. So these are triangular signs in yellow and black. So the color of the triangular signs are black and yellow. Are warning signs. Warning signs. تحذيرية. علامات تحذيرية. They warn you not to do something. In the picture. Sound signs basically not allowed, a rule. They tell you that you can't do something. تحذيرات and قوانين ممنوع. Finally, sound signs round mandatory action. Okay, the opposite prohibition. So you must do it. You must do it. They order you to do something. For example, if I put the sign A, it tells you that you must read. You must read. For F, for example, it tells you to cover something. Cover the gear. Cover the gear. So we have warning signs that tell you, warn you to not do something. And we have prohibition signs that inform you to follow a certain rule And finally, we have mandatory actions that give you or order you to do something. Okay, look at 4. Read the text, match the examples to the signs. So we need to match each sign with its appropriate blank. So each sign has a meaning. Okay, and we have from 1 up to 6, and we have 6 signs. Try to match the sign with its meaning in the blanks. Okay, let's start reading. So we have the first section, the warning signs. These signs warn you about the danger. They say things like this: warning, danger, careful, look out, التحذيرية. التحذيرية. There is a danger or a hazard. Danger has the same meaning of a hazard, خطر. You might injure. So as you can see, we use might. There is a possibility that you maybe gonna get injury, إصابة. The signs are yellow and black in color and triangular in shape. So its color are yellow and black, and its shape are triangular. So we are talking about C and E. Here are some examples. The first one, number 1, warning, poison. Look at C. What does this symbol indicate? It says here, poison. A poison is a liquid. If you get injected to by a snake or by some medical tool or a needle, or if someone had put a poison in your food, you are more likely that you're gonna die within a short period of time. So poison here means some. Okay, look at number 2. Danger, خطر. Fire. So this symbol represents fire, hazard. خطر, حريق. So number 2, the answer will be E. Okay, second section, prohibition signs. These signs prohibit, تمنع, an action, تمنع حدث أو فعل. They say do not do this, or don't. You must not do this, never do this. So these signs tell you to not do something. For example, if you see a sign and inside it, like this, and inside it there is a mobile, so you will understand the sign tells you do not use the mobile. Okay, let's see the examples. 3, you must not lift this with a hook. So which one, B or D? So the answer is B. This is a hook, a hook, a hook. If you want to lift something, just raise it up. So lifting, moving from one point to another point higher, to another point higher. Number 2, never take the gird off this machine. D. gird, الحماية حقت الآلة, machine. So we finally we ended up with the last section of signs. Mandatory action sign is the opposite of prohibition signs. These signs They don't tell you to do something, or they tell you to not do something. The opposite is mandatory action signs. It tells you the opposite. Do something. Okay, let's try to read. These signs order you to do something. They say, do this. You must do this. Always do this. Here are some examples. So yeah, we're talking basically about A and E because we talked about the triangular shapes and the prohibition signs. And what did we have left is A and F. Always read the manual before you surface this machine. So read. So basically this is A. As you can see, we have a person who is reading. So whenever you see a sign, it tells you to read. If you saw the sign in this shape, it tells you the opposite, to not read. 6, you must use the guard in this circular saw. So finally we have F. Okay, so this is a saw that is used to cut a metal or a wood. And this is the guard. As you can see, if you cover it, it will protect the co-workers or the workers from obtaining an injury, sustaining an injury. Okay? Okay, if you want to talk about things you must do and things you don't need to do, okay, the do list, a don't list, okay? If you want to order someone or tell someone to do something, positively would use at the beginning always, or you must, or do. After that, we need to put the verb. And finally, what you are asking to do. For example, the first one, always. So it means 100% of the time you must do it, always. Always what? What you are willing from me to do. Where? Steady what? So here you need to put the order, a hard hat here. Another example, always bring أحضر. أحضر what? Your book with you. Another meaning, you must wear a hard hat. لازم what? ترتدي إيش? A hard hat here. The opposite, if you want to tell someone to not do something, the opposite. العكس. تمام؟ تقول شخص لا تسوي الشيء هذا. You would use at the beginning, do not, or S abbreviation, don't. Do not basically means don't. Never is the opposite of always. Always 100%, never 0% of the time. You must, the opposite of must is you must not, and its abbreviation is you mustn't. You mustn't touch the machine. For example, I tell you, do not come. لا تجي. ليش؟ With the object, وقت ما أجي, do not come without the book. لا تجي بدون كتاب. Never come. لا تجي دائما. متى؟ إلا الكتاب معك. Never come without the book. لا تجي بدون كتاب. You mustn't. Okay, you mustn't. يعني أبدا لا تحضر without a book. Okay, for 5, complete the instructions with the verbs and the box. Instructions. Okay, instructions, as you can see from 1 to 6, it might have warnings or things to do something, or a set of rules. So these are the instructions. For example, the instructions in my classroom: you must bring a book. You must come at the time. Don't need to be late. Always ask if you have something. So these are sets of instructions. So we have always, means 100% of the time you must do it. Do, the same of meaning, or has similar meaning of always. Do not, the opposite of do. Must, similar meaning to do. Mustn't is the negative form. And we have finally never. Never is the opposite of always. Bear in mind that do not, if you put it at the beginning, and if the sentence weren't questions, you don't need a subject. You don't need you. Like always, like never. But must, you can't use must or mustn't without a verb. So, for example, in number 1, you can't say, you can't. You can't. Must use a lighted. Incorrect. Okay, you need a subject. As you can see, we have 2 subjects in these sentences. We have at 4, you. So, obviously, you would use must, mustn't in 4 and 6. Okay, we need to follow also the signs. For number 1, based on the sign, we would use one of these in the appropriate blank. For example, number 1, this is a negative thing. Use a lighted match. This is a lighted match. Where? In the workshop. So this sign tells you what? Never use a lighted match in this workshop. I could also use do not, but never has a bigger meaning, or has a more powerful meaning. Okay, never. There is no chance you are allowed to use this. So it has more deep meaning than do not. Number 2, you can see we don't have a sign like this. So for number 2, it tells me to do something. Wash. You can see wash. What? Your hands. When? After using these chemicals. So I can't use must because I don't have a subject. So the answer will be always. Always. Also, I can use here, for example, you could use do, or you could use wash alone without do or without always. So you have a variety of options. But if you use alone in the beginning, always, so it tells you like 100% of the time you must wash. So this is a rule that is you mustn't break it. We don't need to break it. We shouldn't break it. For 3, we have a person and we have a door. This sign tells you to not do something. We use never, so we need a negative form. I can't use mustn't because I don't have a subject. So the answer will be do not. Do not. The opposite of this, you could simply say enter. Enter. 4. This sign tells you to do something, and we clearly we are clearly seeing the subject you. As we said before, you should use must or mustn't. So this is a positive meaning. So we'd use the positive word. You must wear safety boots when you lift this. 5. Smoking. So this signs tell you what? To not smoke. Okay, so we need a negative form. I can't say mustn't because I don't have you. I would use do because we have already mentioned not. Do not smoke in this factory. Finally, number 6. You must not touch this machine with bare hands. It is hot. So use here must not because the sign tells you to not do something, a negative. So in these signs, 1, 3, 5, 6, I need to use a negative form or never. All of them have the same meaning, have a negative form, to not do something. And we said that if you saw you, there is only one case where you should use a word with you. If you are willing to talk about rules and warnings. When you saw you, you need to use either must or mustn't, depending on the sign you see. Okay, so we talked about things you must do. And we said that you must use the word always or do. If you want to do something, we'll tell other people to do things. And if you are wanting to tell them to not do something, you would use their opposites, which are, and we have don't and mustn't. We want to talk about the possibility, maybe 50%. 50% if you do something. If you did not follow these signs, okay, I'm not sure what would happen after that. You might, for example, get hurt or not. So I would use might and could. Okay. So might and could means you. It's like must. Must. I use must if you want to order someone to do something. Must not if you want someone to not do something. Might or could, you are talking about the possibility. ممكن. Okay, so you might. ممكن إيش؟ burn your arm. تحرق يدك. ممكن. You might burn. Okay, look at number 1. Do not. So this sign tells you to not smoke. Okay. So it's already written here. For number 2, this sign tells you to not use a mobile phone here. Okay. So basically, for each sentence, you could use at the beginning do not. Do not. For number 3, do not run here. For number 4, we have entry. This is the noun. We need the verb. نحتاج الفعل. Next sentence would say do not enter here. 5, no exit. Do not exit here. And finally, no barking. Barking with the ing. And we now we had the verb. We'll basically say do not bark here. Okay, number 7. Complete these warning signs with the word or phrases in the box. You can use the words or phrases more than once. So as you can see, we have could, might. There are, there's. I need to put them in the blanks. Each sign tells you something, as you can see. And as we said before, we have could, might. I use them if there is a possibility that something might happen. We are not sure. I don't use them with warning or giving a set of instructions or rules. Look at number 1. Take care. Heavy weight, 100 kilograms and more. You injure your back. Injure. So we have a possibility. We don't know. If you lift a heavy object, we don't know. You might or you might not injure yourself. So the answer would be could and might. As we said before, could and might have the same meaning, so I could use both of them. Okay, if you didn't use them, you could say you injure. You injure without could and might. If I am certain 100% that you are going to injure your back. If you use here must, it means you need to injure yourself. يعني لازم تصيب نفسك. Okay, but this is علم الغيب. So basically I don't know. Number 2, this symbol. What does it represent? You can see it in winter, and the weather must be snow. Okay, warning. Okay, we have called the adjective surface here. Okay, we have a singular. So we have there are, there's, there are, there's. Which one? There's, there is, هنالك, there is. Why? Because we are talking about a singular. There is a cold surface here. What would happen if I didn't follow this warning? You injure. Basically like number 1. Injure your hand. We don't know. There is a possibility if you didn't follow this warning, you might or could injure your hand. Number 3. Be careful. احذر. You can see here, you. There is one word that fits with you that needs a subject. And it is used if you want to talk about rules. So we here are giving a rule. But let's make sure. Okay, let's check before answering. Trap your hand in the gears. So, sorry, it's not a rule. Trap. Trap. Look at number 3. تعلق. يد ممكن تنشب. Okay, ممكن. استخدمت must. And يقول نشب يدك. So sorry for that. So you would use either could or might. يعني واحدة منهم. You can't use both of them. One of them. Either you could trap or you might trap your hand in the gears. For danger, خطر. What did this symbol mean? Lasers. So if you saw the symbol in the future or in the past, okay, it represents lasers. In the laboratory, مختبر. Okay, laser. So we have a blower. جمع. There are هنالك. This laboratory, you injure. إصابة. So we don't know. ممكن تجيك إصابة ممكن لا. But if you are sure that if you follow something and you wouldn't or you are not willing to use could or might, you could use instead will. You will, if you're certain that this is what would happen, you would use you will injure. سوف تصاب. You will injure. Okay. For the lasers, you could say you will. You know, the possibility is very high. So you have a variety of options, and عندك خيارات متعددة, a variety of options. If there is a possibility, you could use could or might. If you are certain that this is what would happen, you would use, well, if you want to give a warning for this, you would say might. If you want to tell someone to not do something, would use do not or you mustn't. Okay, we finished the lesson for today. But before closing the lesson, we'll do a quick revision of this lesson. So we talked about rules and warnings. As we said before, rules are sets of instructions that tell you to follow something or to not violate something. Warnings, it's like rules, tell you what would happen if you did not follow these rules. So we said also that we have 3 types of signs. We have warning signs, okay, signs that warn you about the danger. Warning, علامات تحذيرية. How can we know them? كيف نعرفهم? Okay, the warning signs are have a triangular shape and their colors are yellow and black. So these are warning signs. The other section is prohibition signs. Prohibition sign. These signs prohibit, okay, an action. What do you mean prohibit? Not allowing. تمنع action. تحذر يعني شيء ما تسويه. طيب, what are their properties? خواصها كيف نعرف? How did we identify them? Signs are red, white, and black in color and round in shape. So other than B and D. Finally, mandatory action signs. These signs order you to do something. The opposite of B and D, it tells you to do something. Its properties have a circular shape and their colors are blue and white. And if you want to use a rule or a warning, if you want to tell someone to do something, would you at the beginning always or you must? After that, you need to mention the verb. What you want from the other person to do. And finally, the object. What exactly you want from him to do. For example, always what? Bring أحضر. جيب إيش? The book. Always bring the book. You must bring the book. Opposite, عكس. تقول شخص tell someone to not do something. لا تسوي الشيء عكسه. Okay, do not come. لا تجي. When? متى? Do not come without the book. دون الكتاب. Don't. اختصارا. Don't come without the book. تحضر دون الكتاب. Never. أبدا. The opposite of always. Never come without the book. Finally, you must not. You mustn't. لا تجي. لا تجي ولا تحضر إلا مع الكتاب. Okay. I will say that must requires a subject at the beginning. I can't say must touch. This is incorrect, but I can say never touch. I can say but both of them, for example, always and never, I could use the subject you. You never touch the machine, but we don't need to do that. Finally, if you want to talk about a possibility, if you did not follow an instruction, you would use might could. So there is a possibility 50%. So there is a 50% that there is a possibility 50% of injuring yourself or not. So you might injure or you might not injure yourself. ربما, maybe. Okay, this is our lesson for today, and I hope you enjoyed this lesson. And the lesson of today is very important because as all of us aware about the spread of the coronavirus, we would hear and listen for a lot of rules and signs wherever you go, and especially in infected areas or that they are more likely that they're gonna get infection, like in hospitals. If you go to hospitals right now or in some restaurants, you will see these signs that warn you or tell you a set of instructions. For example, always wash your hands, never make contact with an affected person, always sneeze with a tissue or using your arm, and try to isolate yourself if you experience a set of symptoms like coughing or fever, or if you have contacted with an affected person. So these are all of these are set of rules or instructions that if you follow them, we are more likely, we might, and we don't know about the future, we might reduce the spread of the coronavirus infection in our country, inshallah. If you have any questions, you can type your questions, or you can send your question directly to me via through the Telegram, and you will get a response, inshallah, within the next 24 hours, inshallah. Okay, thank you for listening, and we'll see you in another lesson, inshallah.